everybody, it's Sam Amico with another edition of Hoops Wire Live on 330 to go from the Burke Lakefront Airport Studios. Big Play Studios that we do Full Court Cleveland on. Today I have a special guest to talk about the Cavs, Ryan Tyler, who just happens to be my producer, the guy who's telling me what to do at all times, not just producing the Full Court Cleveland show, but also kind of my life coach. Would you not say that's kind of accurate, Ryan?
I would say that's a little bit accurate. You know, Sam, people sometimes ask me, what is the hardest part of your job here at Big Play as I'm a producer? And instantly, it's the same answer every time. It's making Sam Amico look good on camera.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I managed to do it because, Sam, you look fantastic.
I appreciate that. Could you, follow me around in real life?
I don't know if I have time for that, but maybe if the price is right.
Well, we'll try to work out something here. With maybe our Hoops Wire Live sponsors will come through for us.
There you go.
Anyway, so the Cavs this week have a nice 4-day break, which started after Tuesday's win over the Pistons. I believe they're 8-1 now with James Harden in the lineup. I think James Harden has a lot to do with that. I think Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis and some of those new additions have a lot to do with it. I think also the guys who are already here, Jared Allen's, Jalen Tyson's, the list goes on. Evan Mobley, Sam Merrill, Craig Porter Jr., all of these guys, Dean Wade when he's out there. So what have you liked the most, Ryan, about since James Harden came to the Cavs?
Yeah, I think the thing that I've enjoyed the most is, you can talk about the X's and O's and the impact James Harden has on the floor, but just from a viewer standpoint, right? Like at the end of the day, we're all still fans. Just immediately watching James Harden come into this lineup, just the immediate impact he's had about the players around him. Jared Allen has turned into another animal, right?
Yeah.
Just the way he moves the ball. You talk about the guy you grow up watching from his Oklahoma City days and going to the Houston Rockets, like, he was a top 5 player for a long time, in my opinion. One of the most creative shot makers that you've really ever seen. And just to bring that guy onto the Cavs still in a time where it's not one of those moves, Sam, like you're bringing in Shaq to play in the Cavs uniform, right? Like it's nothing like that. This is still a player that plays at such a high level. It's just been incredible to watch. And just one of those guys that no matter who's on the floor, just instantly makes everybody around him better. And I think kind of, outside of Donovan Mitchell, the Cavs haven't had that since his tenure here, right? Like I think James Harden is probably the best player that Donovan has ever played with, I think safe to say maybe in his career. Right?
Yeah.
And I just think that lifts some weight off Donovan, it lifts some weight off of everybody else. And you bring in a guy who's hungry for a championship, right?
Yeah.
I think that's another piece of it. The fact that he's never gotten there, the fact that he's had these playoff disappointments, come to a young, hungry team, get that veteran leadership, and I think it's made all the difference.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. It's nice to have 2 stars with a chip on their shoulder. Donovan Mitchell, everybody says, well, he never gets out of the second round, which to this point has been true. And then James Harden, all people talk about are Game 7 meltdowns and never getting to the finals. So it's nice to have 2 guys, one of them still in his prime. James Harden, slightly past, but still so impactful. It's almost better that James Harden is here now than if he had been here earlier in his career, because now he's accepted the role of, I'm the veteran guy who doesn't need a lot of shots.
I completely agree, and sometimes I feel like that's what you need. Like James Harden, sure, was never going to be in that upper echelon of a LeBron, of a Kawhi that year on the Raptors, of a Steph. Right. And I know Steph had plenty around him too, but or a Giannis, that Bucks run. Like, I don't know if he was ever going to be that player that completely willed them to a finals run and a finals win, but that's okay, right? Like, you don't need to be, and I think James Harden at this point understands that, and you got to imagine he's probably pretty thrilled to be playing with a guy like Donovan Mitchell, to be playing with a guy like Evan Mobley, especially once they can actually practice. And I know they're on this 4 off days where they finally get to practice together. And just what you've seen already, you pair that when Donovan comes back is healthy again, Evan Mobley is at full strength, who knows what's going on with Jared Allen, but like when this team has time to practice and come together, and it's coming in a crucial time, Sam, it's just exciting to think of the prospect of James Harden on this team, when those 48 minutes come around and it's postseason, and it's a different animal, as you would say.
Yeah, and and I like the fact that they're 8-1 with James Harden in the lineup, and I think a part of that, Ryan, is that you look at like that first game in Sacramento, it's like, oh my gosh, this guy comes through at winning time. He had a miserable game against the Pistons the other night. I think part of that his thumb might still be bothering him, but he had a miserable game. And sometimes that's just life in the NBA. But when it came time for a clutch shot at the end, he hit that layup. He found Sam Merrill for 3. He just makes those winning plays that, honestly, like you said, I don't think Donovan Mitchell's ever played with a guy like this before, where it's like, listen, this is a different kind of approach to the game. The game seems to slow down for James Harden, and it's also been a result, I think, a little bit too, obviously, of the other, not just the new additions, but the holdovers as well.
Yeah, and I'm by no means am comparing Donovan Mitchell and James Harden to like LeBron and Kyrie Irving, but that's just the most recent duo in my memory. Like the amount of pressure, final shot, it could be either of them. Obviously, you want the ball in LeBron's hands for those final moments, but like for Donovan, it's always, no kidding, Donovan's taking that final shot of the game. Not even Evan Mobley, right? Like to have that impact where you can't just immediately swarm Donovan Mitchell. Well, I guess you can, but if you do, guess what? James Harden, how many career game-winning shots has he made in his career? Obviously, I don't know that exact number, but you talk about being clutch, just the amount that alleviates from a guy like Donovan Mitchell, who for the first time finally probably feels like he doesn't have to shoulder the load. And come postseason time, I'm sure he will, as all superstars do. But especially, say I'm on the road, like it's the role players, obviously, but plus, you're second, you're I'll call James a 1B, right? Like to have that option there in the final moments, a guy who's been in that moment, it's just, I don't think you can understate the impact that's going to have this postseason.
That's exactly right. I mean, anytime you have a veteran who's still got something left, who's one of the top, voted as one of the top 75 of all time, I just think that he's just found the perfect place for himself, and the Cavs found the perfect piece. And I really credit, Kobe Altman for not just going out and getting James Harden, but also for recognizing that the Cavs needed to get tougher. They needed to get an edge, and they went out and got Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder, who are really kind of brought exactly what the Cavs brought or needed. And then Thomas Bryant as well has been getting more minutes as a veteran guy who also brings kind of that edge. The Cavs used to be viewed, before the trade deadline as a team that's not tough enough. I think potentially that has changed. And James Harden rebounds too. I forgot about that. He rebounds, which is something they need.
And then I think kind of an underrated aspect not many people talk about is like, it's like the butterfly effect when one thing has to happen in order for the next to happen. And kind of Jalen Tyson's emergence this year kind of opened up the door for everything, in my opinion, because he was playing so well. You feel comfortable putting him in that 3 spot. Like that opened the door for the Cavs to be able to move on from DeAndre Hunter. Like you get under the salary, the luxury tax, whatever it is, the second apron, and you don't really miss a beat. In fact, Jalen Tyson's been playing much better than DeAndre Hunter had as of recently. That opened the door for trading him for Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis. And then who knows, maybe if that trade doesn't happen, maybe Kobe Altman doesn't feel comfortable making that Darius for James Harden trade. He didn't think that was maybe the best move without that. I don't know, but it kind of felt like then the James Harden was the cherry on top. So I think a big part of that is Jalen Tyson's emergence this year, and it's been phenomenal to see.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. It was kind of the whole NBA butterfly effect. So, Ryan, okay. You've been the producer at Big Play for how long now?
Yeah, I'm coming on year 3, I believe. Year 3, full time, a couple years now. Been quite the adventure, Sam, and it brought me you.
Which you could just quit now and be like, I've accomplished everything I hoped in life.
Exactly. You're absolutely right.
Well, so you do that, and then you host some shows too on the Big Play app, right?
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough.
Big Factor?
So the Big Factor did do that. It took a little bit of a rebrand. So now we're trying to push that Daily Browns content, which obviously NBA is your sport. I love the NBA as well, but I'm a big NFL guy. That's my bread and butter. I'm fortunate enough to do a show called The Daily Dogs every day with Big Play's Nick Padone, who you've seen on Full Court Cleveland, filling a couple times there. And then I've had the pleasure of just producing a plethora of shows for some pretty amazing people. I've got the opportunity to produce for Josh Cribbs, Hanford Dixon on the football side. Then, of course, you, Booby, and Carlos Baerga on the baseball side. And that's brought the opportunity for me to help interview so many different guests, some Cleveland legends in really all realms of the city. And it's just been incredible. And what we're building here, you know, you guys are a big part of it in our basketball crew. And it's been special to see the growth, you know, starting all of this from Dave, you know, Big Play Dave, kind of the creator of Big Play, all starting in his
garage, right?
Originally, I think the basement, then it moved to the garage, and then now we have our studios here at Berkeley Lakefront Airport. Like, just the exponential growth that we've seen these last couple of years has really been special, and I truly believe, you know, we're just getting there to the top. Not really close yet, but on the right trajectory.
Right. Yeah. Well, what I like most about what you just said was you named all these legendary Cleveland athletes and me.
Hey,
I was the only guy who got thrown in there who wasn't a legendary Cleveland athlete.
Without the insiders, the reporters, the guys that cover it, we wouldn't know the heartbeat of the team. We wouldn't have anything to talk about. So, unsung hero.
And people know who have watched Hoops Wire Live for quite some time, do not talk to me ever during a Browns game, usually because I'm so upset and mad. Everybody around me knows that, and that's something we have pushed on Hoops Wire Live for a long time. So, lot of Browns content, daily Browns content with Ryan on the Big Play Network, and here at 3:30 to go. Ryan, thanks so much for joining me. And anything else you want to add about the Cavs? Let me ask you this: how far do you think they're going to go?
I truly believe they're making it to the NBA Finals. Now, whether they play the Thunder, whether they play the Nuggets, I'm not going to sit here and say they win it, but you look at the field. I mean, are you really scared of the Knicks? I really don't think so.
Nope.
Again, you mentioned it today on Full Court. Are you really scared of the Pistons? No, you're probably you could say you're interested, a little bit scared of the prospect of how young they are and maybe they're ahead of schedule. But again, let's be real. If you can't beat them in a 7-game series, you know, a team that's never been there, well, you didn't deserve to be there. And then the Celtics, obviously, we'll see what happens. Jason Tatum just announced he'll come back. Could I see the Cavs losing to the Celtics in a 7-game series? Absolutely, I could. But I'd still bet the Cavaliers. So I'm going to say they make the NBA Finals, and let's be real, if they don't, there's going to be some changes coming.
Sure, absolutely. And I'm with you there, Ryan. I said this before a couple years ago that they would probably lose to the Knicks in the first round, and everybody got mad at me. Last year, I said before the playoffs or before the series, and trust me, I'm only talking about times I'm right because I'm wrong more often than not. But I said the Pacers are going to be a major problem. They're hot. They went to the East Finals last year. Going to be a major problem. People got mad at me. Well, this year they should be happy because I'm with Ryan. I think good health, relative good health, they're going to go to the Cavaliers are going to go to the final. So we'll talk about that more on Hoops Wire Live coming up. Ryan, thanks so much for joining me, and we will see you guys